So I'm here on this sunny January 2nd day with shooter-producer Christopher Knox. So welcome, Chris. I'm so glad you could come here today. I'm really happy to see you. Chris and I haven't seen each other in about 6 years. We used to go to college together at San Francisco State University, where we met in a botany class. Lo and behold, he's here today, and we're going to ask him some questions about his career in the film industry. And I guess lately, I looked at all of your stuff. I was going through everything. San Fran Land is one of my favorites, actually.
Oh, thank you.
So tell me how you got started in film, first of all.
Oh my gosh, that's a very long story. I come from a family of artists. I was actually an actor, believe it or not, back in the day. I was a child actor. I did one big feature film that you might have heard of called Hook. I was in that.
Oh my goodness.
Bob Hoskins threw me down a flight of stairs. Robin Williams was one of the nicest people I've ever met, and I was really bummed when he passed away.
Yeah.
And then I grew very tall, so if you can tell.
You're like a Viking. Look at him.
Yeah, Monica, you're not a dwarf. You're actually a perfectly normal-heighted person, but me on the other hand, and she's actually standing higher up on a hill too. We're actually not on level ground either. I'm actually in something right now. So I was freakishly tall, and I was 6 foot at 14, and that sort of ended my acting career because they were like, "You're so much taller than all the other kids, and you look like a man at age 10, and this isn't helping." So that sort of killed my acting career. And
Oh, well.
it was so sad.
No, we're not sad at all because you've been super active, as we can see. So starting from San Fran Land, we know you've filmed Jersey Shore and The Real World. Tell us a little bit about reality and how that worked out for you.
Jersey Shore was a fun show. I got brought on by a good buddy of mine and a boss, Jordan Nafusi, and really talented guy who's still at 495 who does Jersey Shore. And because I did Jersey Shore, I got hired on a ton of other reality shows, including Real World Season 29, which is the San Francisco Real World Explosion season. And that was, again, all here in San Francisco. And I was production manager on that.
How did you get involved, and what's it like just working on the set for reality? We'd love to know.
Reality it's craziness. It's both Real World and Jersey Shore they're unscripted reality shows. So it's literally you put, in case of Real World, it's 7 strangers in a box. In Real World, it's 8 people who actually do know each other. In Jersey Shore, it's 8 people who actually know each other, but they actually are living in a house. They're actually living their lives. It's actually we're recording everything 24/7 and figuring out the story. So it's very much fly by the seat of your pants. It's very much lots and lots of prep, then let the machine go, and get it all on camera.
So you don't know what to expect with reality, do you?
Well, I mean, there's many flavors of reality TV. There's competition style shows like Gordon Ramsay's cooking shows, and there's always a certain amount of playing with those shows, and we're going to have these things happen. The events themselves are unscripted, but they're laid out. But again, Jersey Shore and Real World, it's literally a reality show. We are literally recording strangers and seeing what they do. So no, it's very cool.
Tell me about what it's like to work with people in the industry, especially on reality sets.
Working with people in the industry, it's regardless of what segment of the industry, whether it's film, TV, or reality TV, it's all about what do you like at hour 12? It's really nice that you're a nice person at 9 a.m. when you've had a cup of coffee, but how are you to work with 12 hours in a day when everyone's exhausted, they smell bad, everyone's cranky? Are you still fun to work with? Are you still decent to work with? Are you still a good guy to work with? That's like the number one thing, And like every other industry, it's all about relationships. It's all about who you know. It's like, why did I get that job? Well, I knew this guy who knew I was a good guy. This person knew I was a good guy, so they said, "Oh, we'll hire him."
So they knew you were reliable and trustworthy, and you got the job done, basically.
I took an internship on a film called Melvin Smarty back in the day, and it's unpaid work, and that's tough and that's challenging. But back when I started, unpaid internships were the norm. You took an unpaid internship, people took a chance on you, and they were like, "Oh, he's really good." And then you stay friends with everybody, and you call them all up and say, "Hey, need work.
Yeah.
Somebody call me." So yeah, I mean that's how you start.
Exactly.
People know you. People know you're reliable and reliable every single time, and reliable not just when the job's no fun, because there's a lot of stuff in our business that's just tough. It's tough and repetitive, and whether you work in camera or audio or producing, there's always tough repetitive stuff that needs to get done.
Yeah.
And are you going to take care of it?
Exactly.
Are you, Monica? Are you going to take care of it?
I'm the one to do it, yes, hopefully. So I guess my next question is your study of film and television and how that has helped you further your career in the industry.
So I went to 3 schools in all. I actually first started at San Marco College in San Marco.
Didn't you study art there? I remember he used to draw these crazy pictures in class.
I still draw crazy
And he
pictures,
still does,
and
yes.
you can go check them out at cgnox at cgnox.tumblr.com.
Oh, awesome.
But no, I started off as an illustration major actually in college. I did a lot of life drawing, a lot of design work, and then I moved to the Bay Area. I moved to College of San Mateo, and that was fantastic. And I got into their broadcast program there that they just restarted, and that was great because I got lots of hands-on experience with a lot of gear there. They had just bought a bunch of Panasonic AG60s, which were an old 3-chip SD camera, but it was a gorgeous camera. It was a beautiful form factor. They had 7 full kits for us to use. Plus, there's a working TV station on site that we could train at. No, it's really cool whatever you can do to get firsthand experience. I mean, the key things that you learn in college, in my opinion, are if you're going to go study film and television, you're going to learn first is writing. Everyone needs to learn writing. I don't care who you are. Everyone has a story to tell. Everyone's going to want to eventually write a script. I don't care if you're not planning to be a writer. Learn to write. Secondly, you need to know how to write an argumentative essay. You need to know how to write an effective email. So you need to know how to do nonfiction writing, because you're going to have an issue with money on the line where you have to explain to your boss why we're spending $50,000 on this, and you better have a good email for that. Because there's this little thing, kids, called paper trail, and we love paper trail in this business. You need it to cover your... Never forget, CYA. Always be CYA. Very important thing to learn. Hands-on experience with the gear was really nice. You're going to learn a lot of that on the job, the hands-on stuff, but it's nice to get familiar with yourself so you're not totally cold. And again, some of the best people I've ever worked with, I met at SF State. I mean, I worked with Ali Cottrell, who I met in college. Ali Cottrell was a producer on The Real World. Ali Cottrell works at Indigo Films. I've done a ton of work with him, and we've stayed good friends. We're actually doing a show in February.
Great.
So, yeah.
We'd love to stay tuned with everything that you do, Chris. Do you have a YouTube channel, or is there some sort of way we can look at your work for people who are interested?
No, you find me at cgnox at my Tumblr. You can go to cgnox.tumblr.com.
Awesome. Hi, so I'm here with Jose Montesinos from San Francisco, and he is an independent filmmaker, mostly known for his action and kung fu style sequences such as Barrio Brawler, among others. So Jose, tell me a little bit about how you got started in your film career.
Well, I was interested in movies ever since I was like a little kid, and I got my first video camera when I was 14. So I started just making stuff and music videos and random little things. Even made like a feature, but it was terrible. But and then I went to film school at City College here in San Francisco for a couple of years and learned the nuts and bolts. And then after that, just kept evolving. Just kept making stuff, making shorts. Eventually made some features. Just got better and better, and then eventually got the chance to work with some film production companies and. Just
tell me a little bit about the film companies that you've worked for. Like you mentioned, what was it called? The Asylum.
I first edited something for them a few years back, Mega Shark versus Crocosaurus.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I really want to see that one.
Yeah, it was great. No, check it out. And then I got a chance to direct something for them that I didn't write. I just directed, and that was an experience because we had like 10 days to shoot it.
Wow.
And then eventually I got the opportunity to make Barrio Brawler for them, and while it was still a film that they specifically needed, I got to shoot it here in San Francisco with my people that I know, and I got a lot of those martial arts guys involved, and we really set out to make like as good of a action martial arts movie as we could make with 12 days to shoot it.
Yeah, that's impressive. 12 days, and
yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I've seen some of the trailers for his action movies, and they are pretty legit. The actors, or whatever you call them, martial artists, really know what they're doing. So I guess you were really selective in who you chose.
I just know a bunch of really good, talented guys. I'm lucky.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that's a lot of it too with filmmaking, is being lucky enough to meet the right people, and network with the right people and get a good, because filmmaking is collaborative. You can't do it by yourself. So if you surround yourself with good, talented people, you can make good stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about the challenges you've encountered in your career.
I mean, it's always challenging to make a movie, always, no matter what, even if you have a bajillion dollars, which I never have. But even if I did, I'm sure it would be challenging for different reasons. But the challenging thing when you work with no money or little money, is just that. It's just getting it done. You know, getting people to come on board, want to do it, want to see it through, because a lot of times you can't afford to pay people.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's probably the biggest challenge. Just, you know, being able to get it together enough so that you're making something quality enough to get it done. Now, in the case of working for like the Asylum, the challenge is getting it done with like very limited time, because they're always on a crunch schedule. It's just, you know, you got 12 days to shoot it. You got like, you know, another week to deliver a rough cut. You got another week to deliver another cut. It's because they're always working on a schedule.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, Barrio Brawler was probably one of the hardest things that we pulled off. Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty impressive, and that is on Netflix as American Brawler.
Yeah, they
right?
changed the title for Netflix on American Brawler, but you can find it as Barrio Brawler on iTunes and some other places I can't remember right now.
I have to say that I really enjoyed Hell's Kittens. I guess it is about a girl gang, a girl crime fighting gang, or just a kung fu gang. They're just a bunch of badass chicks, and they kick ass, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was a proof of concept trailer we made in the hopes of getting people interested in funding a bigger idea behind it, but didn't really work out as often. It doesn't, you know, that's one of the things about making movies. It doesn't always work out the way you hope. But I'm glad that that trailer exists. It's a fun thing, and it actually, you know, got a lot of recognition when we did it, and people seemed to enjoy it, and it was a lot of fun.
Well, I definitely enjoyed it. What would you recommend? Like, what would be your words of advice to people who are starting out in the film industry?
I would say just make stuff. Just keep making stuff no matter what. Don't let the lack of money or resources stop you. Just don't worry about it at first. Just go out and shoot stuff with your friends, and just try to get better and better. You know, learn editing. Just try to learn. Watch a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Watch a lot of, study them. A lot of times, the best film school for me had been watching movies that I really liked with the commentary. You know, and if the commentary is good, because there's a lot of lame commentaries out there where they're just talking about nothing, but if the commentary is actually good, it can really be eye-opening.
That is, yeah, really interesting.
Yeah.
That's good advice.
Well, guerrilla style filmmaking is pretty much the only filmmaking I do for the most part, other than the few times I worked for the Asylum. And really, you know, that's how I did most of my stuff coming up. You know, you just kind of learn by doing. You run out with your friends, you do whatever you can. One of the films I made a few years ago called Bert the Motion Picture, which is actually one of the few movies I've made that's not very action-y at all. We shot that in LA, just running around with a bunch of actors and me and a camera, all available light. And, you know, I had the sound, and, you know, whoever was around would work sound, and I would shoot with these fast lenses so we could shoot in low lighting situations. And it was all about just us coming together and making something, you know, for the love of filmmaking and for storytelling. And the actors loved that because they got to kind of just, you know, do their thing and not be limited by, you know, taking forever to set up equipment and stuff like that. And it was a really good experience, and I highly recommend it for anyone who's just trying to get stuff made.
That's great. Another thing to look up, Bert.
Yeah, the website's out there, bertmovie.com, but we haven't gotten a deal yet or anything. We're hoping. There's a crazy dog fight happening over there again. This is like dog gang territory, apparently, and we're in the middle of it.
That's great. Well, I enjoyed talking to you, Jose.
You too.
So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for having me be a part of this.
Bye. So I'm here with shooter, producer, editor Chris Smith from Humboldt County, California. We are here in the lovely San Francisco Bay Area on top of Bernal Hill.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where we are right now. And Chris is a friend of mine. He has helped me out a lot, and I really look up to Chris. So Chris, tell me a little bit about how you got started in film.
I got started in film. I started shooting younger, like I was like 17 or 16. I just like shooting with friends and just shooting us hanging out and stuff like that. And then after a while, I like really got into the whole editing aspect of just being able to just make a movie out of what you're doing, even if it wasn't like a movie. And then I really started loving that. And then from there, started looking at bigger, cooler cameras and like dreaming to get bigger, cooler stuff. And the more I learned how to do stuff, the more I noticed I need to learn how to shoot in manual. I need to shoot raw, or, you know, other things other than just like compressed and auto and stuff like that. So and then from there I did school stuff. And
yeah. So Chris audited several community college classes.
Yeah, I did the same one twice. I did a video production up in College of the Redwoods, and I liked it so much it like gave you everything all in one package within like the 3 months. It was like everything: shooting, editing, lighting, audio, and then doing like a final project at the end that I actually went back a year later and I audited the same class just because it was just so fun, and I couldn't really find anything stimulating in the area right away to just like jump into comfortably like that. And then from there just jumped into filming local things.
Yeah, so Chris has done a lot of things. He has quite an impressive resume. Recently, he's been out here to film Chromeo for the iHeart SF New Year's Eve tour. So he was one of the two shooter producers for that.
It was fun.
It was really exciting.
Yeah.
And he got to be on stage with Chromeo.
Yeah.
He got me a VIP pass right
She
here.
still got.
It was awesome, and there was an open bar. So yeah, that was Chris's latest gig, but he has covered a lot of music festivals like Outside Lands and Northern Nights, right?
Reggae on the River, Summer Arts Music Festival, Blues by the Bay I started with. That was a really fun festival. I actually worked at this grocery store in the deli, and then I went from, I got a little gig from an old friend of mine named Reese. He's an older black guy, and he's like, hey, you want to come out and shoot? I do all these interviews. And I was like, sure, and I wanted something, and I actually got fired from that job at the working at the deli, and that same weekend I got that blues gig, and then from there I was just filming like I liked live being in front, like just being part of the event and people and just shooting people is just so fun. People are just cool.
Yeah, wow. So tell me a little bit about how your experience in the classroom has helped you in your career.
Classroom? Yeah. Oh man, just hands-on with people and just getting past those, there's certain kind of like fear factors of your own self that you know, you're like, if you don't know how to do certain things, you don't know how to like pursue it. So when you're with other people that don't know how to do that, it's less awkward, you know? And you're like, okay, that guy doesn't know how to do it either. So I'll hang out with him and we'll figure it out. And then doing like little group projects and stuff, being sent out with a few people, you get more friendly, open to what's going on. And then after you break past those little barriers, and then you're on to knowing what you're shooting.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the challenges you've come across in your career.
Camera challenges, man. Just lighting, audio, not paying attention to just little things that you could just ruin something just with just one tiny thing, and not focus, and not overexposing things. White balance is humongous. The difference between indoor and outdoor lighting, and then difference in color tones and light bulbs and stuff. I mean, there's like blue and orange and yellow, and if they're all multiple in one area, you could just totally screw a whole shot off just from that being like not all the lights being the same, you know. And then shooting in the daytime, that's horrible. That's hard light coming straight down on you, or at an angle, like, you know, when we did our other interviews, just blinding you and stuff. And then knowing how to reflect light is huge. Just all these little tricks. You got to pay attention to all these things.
There's a lot of detail involved. So I guess like it would be good to learn this.
Yes, hands-on all day long. Get it all down. Hands-on, just non-stop. Don't stop.
That is great advice, Chris.
Yeah.
I know. So Chris has done a lot of live performances, music shows. He really loves nature.
Yeah.
Time lapse.
Oh
right?
yes. I love nature. Nature's a big. Oh yeah. That's like my little fantasy, is to get like a cool discovery job or something, but just like privately, and just go do a little project for them or something. And then, because I love shooting I live up in Humboldt County, so it's like gorgeous redwoods and ocean, and so I get a lot of exposure to just learning how to shoot nature. And it's tricky because lighting through trees and stuff, and being in woods, you can't really like predict, you know, the lighting coming through the trees. It'll be like super blown out when you look up, and then super dark when you look down. Wow. So learning how to do all that, you know, it's good practice.
Definitely. And you live in a beautiful area. Humboldt County, you're so lucky.
I love it up there.
That as your backdrop.
Oh, everything's gorgeous there. I just shot that thing with Pacific Outfitters, doing Kelly Muth. She's a disc golf girl that's 26 in the world. We just did a little promo with her on her up and coming opening she's doing for I think a disc golf tournament. And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Just being up there in there. HSUs, yeah?
Oh, Chris has also covered the Cannabis Cup with David Arquette.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is kind of cool, right? Can you tell us more about that?
So I was at Reggae on the River just 2014. It's day of 2015 or day after right now. So last year, I was doing interviews in the back of Reggae on the River with all the reggae artists, and out of nowhere came David Arquette, and we did an interview with him, and then we kind of hit it off, and he hung out with me and my buddy Tim Symes. I shoot with. He does aerial photography and stuff, and from there we were buddies. And then we were texting each other back and forth, and he's just like, "Hey, you want to come out and film Cannabis Cup? I'll fly you out and get you a room for a few days with you and your buddy Tim." I was like, "All right," and then we just totally went up, and first time being in Washington, full legal cannabis and in a state. I mean, we're from California, so it's like we have cards, but full legal, it was a different feeling. And yeah, had a blast with David. He's
That
super
sounds
fun.
like fun, yeah.
Very, very awesome guy. He's so like people person. He's just like, you wouldn't even think he's an actor hanging out with him. Yeah,
he's
he's
a down-to-earth celebrity.
beyond down to earth. But yes.
Great. Wow. Thank
Yeah.
you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Great advice.
Thank you. And then, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah.
This is my friend Chris Smith.
Yep. And then
And if people want to find you,
they want to find me. I am Media Apex Production MediaApex.com. I have YouTube channel Media Apex. Basically, my website will be the best. It's got all my promo and portfolios from all the festivals and highlight recap videos and promos for other people, other businesses, and fun stuff like that. So yeah, just keep shooting, everybody. Keep learning. You'll never know everything. You just keep going, and you'll learn more and more as you go along.
Right on. Thanks, Chris.
You're
Chris
welcome.
Smith.